looking dashing.
Woo-hoo! Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to episode 19 of the Immigrant
19.
Mentality Podcast. How are you, Corey Brogan?
Good, man. Good. Yeah.
Are you ready
Great.
to roll?
Let's do this.
We're going to have a wild time today?
Of course.
Good. I'm glad you're ready. Listen, we got some important news for all the sports fans. We are now uploading directly onto Spotify. So if you want to listen to us on Spotify, check the link in our channel and we'll send you right there. Full episodes, everything there ready for you. So if you want to listen in the car, if you want to listen at the gym, you can do it there. Finally, by popular demand, we're on Spotify. We didn't quite get the Joe Rogan money though.
Yeah, we're short on that.
What did he get? Was it 250 million that he got from Spotify in his latest deal?
In the latest deal, yeah. And then all his content went back to YouTube as well.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Because do you remember a few years ago when he signed $100 million deal, and that was huge. That was massive.
Yeah.
That was game changer. That was the biggest thing that had ever happened. And now he's more than doubled it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
He's the man. You're right over there?
Yeah. I thought the door was coming down. I thought the dog was coming in.
Well, he's welcome to join.
Yeah. Yeah, the Joe Rogan deal. Sick. Insane money.
100 million. I mean, he's great though, isn't he? Like, he's really mastered the art of having conversations with people that he agrees or disagrees with.
Yeah, I've seen like the YouTube shorts where he's not necessarily getting along with the guest that he has, and he just says it how it is, right?
Well, the one thing that impresses me most about Joe Rogan is that I think he's created his own genre.
Yeah.
The conventional advice is that you kind of pick a genre and then you go into it as much as you can. His genre is 4 or 5 or 6 different things that he's into.
Yeah. You got like the fight companions, you got the fighters, you got the athletes, and then you get the conspiracy theorists, you get the scientists, you get everyone. You get the vegans, you get the carnivores, you get everyone.
Yeah. He's all around, isn't he? Hey, you know what? Speaking of all around, it's 2024, and all I keep hearing around the place is "Murder on the Dance Floor."
Song in ages. I can't even think.
Listen,
the last time I heard it.
Listen, that song came out in 2001, right? "Murder on the Dance Floor" by Sophie Ellis-Bextor. It was a smash hit back then, and now all of a sudden in 2024, I'm hearing it everywhere. What's going on? Are we being psyoped?
So where are you hearing it?
Everywhere.
Like the grocery store?
On the radio, every time I'm out and about. I see it all the time on social media. People are using it as a background song for their videos. What's going on? Why is it back? I mean, I'm not complaining. I think it's a great tune.
Yeah, I haven't heard it on this side of the pond, but it might just be a psyop in the UK.
Maybe you're only a few months behind, but I have a feeling it's going to be the song of the summer.
Yeah,
let's see
Corey,
how
that plays out.
Because Corey, if you think you're getting away, I will prove you wrong.
It's kind of creepy.
It's a smash hit. Listen,
it gets you fired up, doesn't it?
It does, but it came out in 2001. Why is it popular again now? What's going on?
Well, it's the same. It's the same as trends, right? Like skateboarding. Well, not skateboarding. Let's not use skateboarding. How about jeans or like corduroy or like these trends that were there and they kind of fizzled out and they always make a return.
I've got a good example for that, and I don't know if you've seen it over there. Do you remember the Adidas Samba shoes or the Adidas Gazelle shoes.
Are they the shell toes?
Shell toe is.
Okay, I'm gonna have to see a photo of this, but
Listen,
no, I don't remember those.
pull up Adidas Samba.
Samba.
I'm telling you, they've come back. Well, I mean, this kind of happened last year, but it took me by surprise. Do you recognize them?
Of course, the Bush internet had decided to work now.
You see them?
Yeah.
Right. So when I was a teenager, I had a pair of Adidas Sambas, and I thought they were right cool. Okay, I thought that they were sick trainers. All right, I used to wear them all the time. But then, when I was probably about 20, I looked at them and thought, "Oh, actually, don't know if I'm into them." Thought they're a bit weird, aren't they? But now, every single white girl in London wears them all throughout the summer in lots of different colours. I don't
Yeah.
know how they came back. I don't know what brought them back, but they're
Yeah.
the most popular shoe out there now.
Yeah, it's just trends, I think. Yeah, they just come around and every decade, 2 decade kind of turn around. And pretty soon, we already had the corduroy movement. That already came back, and I think that's already passed. You know, scooters. Scooters are fizzled out again. You don't see scooters anymore. So we'll probably see rollerbladers again. That's shit.
Listen, I see rollerbladers all the time here.
No, sir.
I can't understand rollerbladers rollerblading on the road in London. And
Weird.
and they don't rollerblade forwards, they only rollerblade backwards. What's that about?
That's super weird.
Like, I'm serious, they go backwards fast down the road.
Yeah, that's not
Listen,
cool.
I cycle on the road, right, and I'm deathly afraid of potholes. Imagine if you're on rollerblades going backwards on the road.
Uh,
Just that's asking for trouble.
that's terrifying. I never could. It's for me, toes forward, like skiing, rollerblade. It just doesn't work for me. I can't do it. I feel very unsafe. Ice skating, I'm like Bambi on ice. It's
You're
no
a
good.
sideways kind of guy, aren't you?
Even on ice skates, I'll have a lead foot and I'll treat it like skateboarding. So I'm just going around in circles with one leg, like pushing like I would on a skateboard. I just don't get it. It's terrible. I'm not good at it, and I choose not to do those kind of sports.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. To be honest, though, when I look at you, I don't necessarily think that guy'd be a really good ice skater.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't look like you're built for it.
Yeah, no. No. And when
Built
I fall
for
down,
other things.
it's like a bag of potatoes hitting the ground. It's no good. No good for anybody.
How good are potatoes?
They're very good. Love a good potato.
Listen, do you know what the best vegetable is?
Potatoes.
No. It's onion. Onion is the best vegetable. Potato is the second best vegetable.
Why?
Listen, I don't think I need to explain it to anyone. When you eat an onion or you eat a potato, you know that they're the best two vegetables out there.
Yeah, they're great. I can't think of any other better vegetable. And the variety of potatoes, sweet potatoes, golden potatoes, baby potatoes, the preparation that you can do them in, fries, home style. You can do hash brown. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
I
And
think
then you
you
add a bit
like
of onion.
potatoes.
I'm a big fan.
Hey, yeah, well, that's what you can do as well, is cook potatoes and onions together.
Yeah.
And you can't beat that. That's about as good as it gets.
Put a ribeye next to that.
Or a
As good
leg
as
of
it gets.
lamb.
Or any protein. Speaking about food, I want to touch on something. And I hope the sports fans don't do this because it's quite irritating. When you go to a restaurant, Reese, and you cannot complete your meal, do you tell the waiter or whoever, you know what, I'm done, take the plate away? Or do you say, can I get a doggy bag for tomorrow's lunch? Are you one of those people?
Listen, I don't do either of those because I always finish the meal.
See, this is what I'm saying is that I see it often, and there's things you can take home and there's things you cannot take home. One of those things that you can take home probably would be a steak. You could put it in a box. It's quite expensive in a restaurant. It might already be sliced up. You can put it in a box, take it home, put it in a sandwich for tomorrow. It works. You know, one thing you cannot take home is fish. Don't do that. You know what I mean? It's weird. Who actually goes, I'm going to take that fish home? I couldn't eat it all. It's fish. So you probably could eat it all. It's light. So you take the piece of the fish that you could not finish, and it's covered in some sauces, it's covered in some things. You put it in a box. Next morning, you've had a couple of beers, you're probably in a restaurant, and you go, you know what? I'm going to get into that fish. How many people actually eat that fish? You know what I mean?
Listen, I've got a more important question, and that is who orders fish in a restaurant? You know they have steaks available at that restaurant, right? What are you doing ordering fish in a restaurant? Fish! Fish! Ask the guy working there. He's probably got a steak. What are you ordering fish for?
It's weird, man. It's weird. I don't get it. It's strange. But to take it home and then to look at that fish, the 24, not 24 hours, let's call it 12. 12 hours or 16 hours later, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to microwave that and get at it. If anyone of the sports fans do that, can you let me know how it tastes? I need to know how it tastes because it's strange to me.
What's the best fish?
Okay, this is a controversial topic because I would probably say mahi mahi. However, my mahi mahi consumption since being in North America has become little or zero because I used to eat a shitload of it until I found out a very, very important fact about the mahi mahi.
Is it full
That
of mercury?
It's up, but it's not. It's nothing like tuna. It's nothing like that. There's not many species in the world that mate for life. Mahi mahi is one of them. So, if you take a mahi mahi out of the ocean and it's mated or it has a partner, then the partner is left alone. It's kind of sad.
So if you eat mahi mahi, it disproportionately affects the population compared to other fish.
Yeah, you've either taken a fish away from its partner, or the fish's partner is left, and now you're getting into the partner that was still swimming, who was kind of sad that they lost their partner. So I don't know.
So really, you've got to
Mahi-mahis,
catch both of them.
you kind of do. You got to find out in the ocean the couple, and then take them both out at the same time.
Murk them both.
Murk them both. Just end their family name. Take them both out. But the mahi mahi
Now,
is very,
I
very
don't think
tasty.
I've
It's very tasty.
I don't think I've ever had mahi mahi.
It's very popular in North America. You go to any Costco, it's bags full of it. Makes me sad. So
How
I
big
don't
is it?
Mahi mahi, massive, big sports fish, massive. In Australia, we call them dolphin fish.
Right.
But
Okay.
the same
See
species.
that shocked me when I was a kid. When I was younger, I never realized how big most fish are.
Oh, yeah.
Like even fish like when I first saw tuna, it was in a can, and I had no idea that it was such a huge fish. Same with cod or salmon. Any of these fish that you get a decent chunk of it, but I never realized that they were like 3 or 4 feet long.
Yeah, like tuna. Holy fuck, man. Yeah, I've seen big, like torpedo.
Tuna can
looking
weigh
ones.
500 pounds.
Yeah, man.
I never like. I actually prefer small fish though. my favorite fish are sardines, probably. Have
Very
you ever
flavorful.
had Have you ever had a can of sardines in olive oil from Portugal?
I've I have, and I have a tin downstairs. It's
Right,
amazing.
so you know how good they are. I
Yeah.
think that's just about as good as fish gets, is from a can sardines.
So I did say mahi mahi, but I don't eat it anymore. If I was to say a favorite fish for me, it would be albacore. Albacore tuna, the chicken of the sea. Beautiful white flakes, flesh. Awesome.
You're not worried about the mercury, though?
No, no, why? Why would I be worried about mercury? I don't eat a lot of it. I don't eat it every day.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that you can't eat it every day because if you do, the
I
thing with
did in Hawaii.
mercury, yeah, and every time I've been to Hawaii, I've eaten tuna every day,
The
and
poke bowls. How do you not eat a poke bowl every day? It's like a little treat. You got to do that. You're only
listen,
there for like a week or so, and then you got to just get it in.
it's a strange thing to go to Hawaii and not eat a poke bowl every day because it's stunning. The danger is with eating tuna every day is the mercury toxicity, right? Mercury, when you eat fish that has a lot of mercury in it, it builds up inside of you.
Right.
So you can't eat it every day because that mercury builds up inside of you, and then you get really bad negative effects from too much mercury in your system.
Right.
So you can't eat tuna every day. Hawaii. Have you ever been anywhere that's better than Hawaii?
I mean, Japan was pretty sick. I went to Okinawa, and the same is it latitude? It's latitude that goes across, right? Or longitude. The same latitude. Okinawa is the same
Latitude
as
is up and down.
so the same longitude. That's right. The same longitude as Miami. So it's very tropical, kind of similar to Hawaii, I guess. But Hawaii's sick. Hawaii's awesome.
I think Hawaii is the best place on earth.
Well,
Let me tell you this: when I've been to Hawaii, I truly think it's life changing. I think that you can't look at your life the same way as before you went to Hawaii because
yeah,
everything you think is important or you thought was important, when you go to Hawaii, it makes you reevaluate all of that.
it's pretty fucking cool. And all the little islands are
You
very different in their own way, right?
well, yeah, and they're so uh, geographically and geologically interesting as well, right?
Yeah,
They're alive, but I think it makes you reevaluate everything you thought was important because you're out there in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You're thousands of miles away from anything, and it's glorious. There's nothing to worry about except a tsunami. But you're just out there, and like I went there. I travelled from London to Hawaii last year, and when you're in Hawaii, the last thing on your mind is anything that's happening in London.
yeah, for sure.
Like I can't see how going to Hawaii doesn't make you like going to Hawaii makes you think about everything.
Yeah,
Is this important? I don't know anymore.
it's like a good little restart, a little refresher.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No,
It's stunning, isn't it? I love going to Hawaii.
you been to Kauai?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
Um,
do that.
but that's next on the list. Kauai.
Do that.
That's so the thing with Hawaii is the further up the chain you go, the older the islands get.
Right.
And the older the islands get, the more green and softer they are.
Yeah, Kauai's like stunning.
Yeah,
Just just green sea cliffs, just mountains that just fall into the ocean. It's insane.
because when you go to the Big Island, which is the newest island, it's a lot more rocky and barren
Yeah.
because it's still fresh, it's still being made. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
and
crazy.
you can even see on the Big Island itself, the northwest is a lot older than the southeast. So the northwest is green and stunning and fresh, and there's water and vegetation, and then the southeast is still very barren and rocky, and
Yeah,
you
there's like no
and
trees
it's
in sight.
no trees. It's still being created.
Yeah,
It's amazing to go there and see that happening. You can kind of see the formation of land happening, and
yeah,
you can
it's
see
nuts.
how you can see the time frames that these things happen. That the one part of the island is millions of years older than the newest part, and you can see how life has grown there versus the new part where it's still just a rock.
Yeah, yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, I don't know how they've. I mean, Maui in particular, they had that crazy fire there
Yeah, it's
last year.
terrible.
I don't know how that island has bounced back. I know that they. I mean, it was such a disaster there, and I know there was such a huge there was a huge amount of anger at the perceived lack of support that they got as well to fix that. And I can totally understand that. Imagine being okay. Picture this: say you're native Hawaiian, you live on Maui. A lot of them see the US as occupiers, right? That they don't really feel part of the United States. You have this massive fire that completely destroys your town. The US government doesn't really do much to help you out, to help you rebuild, but then sends billions of dollars to Ukraine to help them out. How does that make you feel as a Hawaiian?
Yeah, fucking devastating, man.
Like that's it's I really like the Hawaiian culture,
Yeah,
and uh, I hope that I don't think that they've found the perfect equilibrium yet, balance between the American influence and the Hawaiian culture. I think they're still figuring that out. Like, did you see the protests at Mauna Kea?
to like not build those little satellite stations on the summit. Is that it?
Yeah, well, the okay, so Mauna Kea is just about the best place in the world to build telescopes
Yeah, it's
because of
it's
the altitude and the clear skies and the proximity to the equator. It's just about as good as it gets. Scientists have been building telescopes on top of Mauna Kea for a while, but the native Hawaiians consider that mountain to be sacred, and therein lies the juxtaposition: is that I see both sides to this. What is the right answer?
yeah, yeah. Well, I think they've got enough
You know,
telescopes. How many more telescopes can you do? Or
I don't
like
know.
if the new technology comes out, take down the old technology, rebuild with the new technology.
I think that might be
That just makes sense. That just
what
makes
they're
sense in
doing
my head.
is. I think that might be what they're doing. Listen, I went up to the summit of Mauna Kea,
Did you really?
and it was stunning. Yeah, yeah. So it's about 15,000 feet at the summit,
To give the sports
and
fan a
you take
perspective if they
a
haven't, or to give them a bit of a perspective, I was at sea level and it was 30 plus degrees, and then I drove up to the pass of Mauna Kea and it was 5 degrees Celsius in Hawaii. Got out of the car,
hmm,
noticeably cold.
yeah. Well, so I went to the summit, and there was snow on the summit,
Wow.
like a lot of snow at the summit, and it was very cold. It was probably about -5 Celsius, so about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was cold, and the air is super thin. I mean, 14,000 feet in the air, and when the sun sets, I've never seen stars like it.
Man, that's awesome. You
I've
did that.
never, honestly, if you ever go on go on a guided tour, that the guide that we had took us up there and gave us the whole history of the area and the the history of Hawaii and a lot of information about the plants and animals of Hawaii and the mountains and the stories behind them and why they consider it sacred. He took us up there. The view at sunset was incredible, but again, once the stars came out, he had a really powerful telescope, and you could just see such detail that unless you live in the most remote place in the world, you will never see that kind of detail.
Wow. Yeah, shit. I wish I did that.
Listen, I think it was about $150 for the whole thing.
Oh,
Pay the man and see this if you're in Hawaii. You won't regret it.
fuck yeah.
Serious. You'll have to go back just to do that.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I couldn't resist though. I had to do some push-ups at the top as well just to prove I could.
Yeah, and a couple of pigs in blanket. Nah.
No, not that day. Not that day. How do I
Sick, dude.
am I going to have to do 2,000 push-ups on Christmas Day this year?
Obviously.
Is that the only logical
Well, you're not going to do
step?
You're not going to do 1,001.
No, that's
Right.
true. But is
So,
1,500 the right answer?
is it, Reese? Is it?
Listen, on this Christmas Day, I did 1,000 push-ups before noon. That means I can do 2,000 in the whole day. I better get training for that, sports
Yeah,
fans.
yeah. You've bitten off a bit more than you can chew. 2,000?
That's a lot, innit? You feel the burn at the end of that day.
You'll be stuck permanently in a push-up position. I chipped away at one of my goals for the yearly goal yesterday.
Tell me about it.
Did Harling.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
Man, I've done it twice now. Once in May and yesterday. And yesterday it was hard packed snow. You needed cleats. It was pretty cool. I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than I would in the summer. But it was on the way down, fucking hell, it was icy. Slipping and sliding. Fell on my butt a few times. Had the dog
Yeah.
with me too, so he's just going fucking mental.
Shit, son.
Yeah. But yeah, 3 hours up and down. There was a guy, dude, check this out. There's a guy that was, I saw him. Have you done Harling? Have you done Harling?
You cut out then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
You said have you, and then cut out.
Oh, have you done Harling?
No, I know, I never did.
Okay.
I never did that one.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of stairs as you start to get up to the open part. And I see this guy just past the stairs. He starts taking a right. He doesn't go to the summit to the left. He goes to the right. And I was like, oh, okay. So we get up to the summit. We're having lunch. We start coming back down. I see the same guy. He's coming back up. He's halfway up the mountain. And I spot him. And I'm like, hey. I'm like, are you going up again? And he's like, yeah. And I don't think that was the last time he was going up. Or I think I've seen. I think I'd seen him possibly in his voice. It seemed like he had one more rep to do. So I think he was going to go up to Harling and then back down and then go up again. But for sure,
Some people just
he did it twice.
built
For
different,
sure, he
don't
did
they?
it twice. Yeah, this dude. I saw it. I was like, I gotta ask him.
Well, here's a question, Corey. Why didn't you do it twice?
Short for time. Had to prepare a barbecue. Cook up some
What did you have?
bison, elk, beef, turkey sausages, pork ribs, and some potatoes.
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 St. Patrick's Day yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah. Dublin must
Fucking
have
hate
been
St. Patrick's Day.
a fucking riot. They won the Six Nations the day before, and then it goes straight into St. Paddy's. Oh man, it must have been crazy.
Yeah, they probably couldn't make the Guinness quick enough.
Oh man.
Hey, here's a question for you. I once hypothesized about this, but I never got an answer. How many people do you need to be drinking with to keep the tap of Guinness open constantly?
How long does it take to
Think
pour
about
Guinness?
well, exactly. So think about that, right? Think how many people would you need to be with to tell the guy behind the bar just keep constantly pouring Guinness?
I'd say, what is it, 2 minutes to do one Guinness? Maybe a minute and a half?
Yeah, but you can do more during that time because once you let that settle, you pour in another one as well.
A minute and a half. Depends how fast you can get it down. 50? 50 people? 40?
I think that I don't know, but that would be an interesting experiment.
By the time the first one gets it on his hand and he's drinking it, puts it down, drinking it, maybe 10 minutes to get the first one down. So you need 10 minutes of time, 1 minute, 10 people. Bartender moving glasses, 25. I'll call 25 people.
I would love to try that one day.
It
I
also
would
depends
love
on how
to try
fast
that.
Depends how fast you're going to drink it too.
I think a group of 10 people could do it, you see. And here's why I say that. At the start, you have your first pint of Guinness. But if there's 10 people, by the time that person's finished their first Guinness, the last guy hasn't even had a Guinness yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and he needs to drink. He needs one.
He'd be thirsty because he hasn't had a Guinness yet.
Yeah.
Listen, why do people drink craft beer when Guinness has already been invented? What are they thinking about?
We've talked about this before, haven't we?
I know, but no one's ever given me a good answer for it. Why is anyone out there drinking an India Pale Ale when they could have a Guinness instead?
As you can see just behind me, as I move the boom there, there's a couple of books, and one book in particular that says beer. So I have studied beer, and I think I have the answer for you.
Okay. Is it cheaper?
As Guinness is a milk stout with an ABV of 4.2% alcohol volume, its creaminess, it's very full-bodied, malty, coffee notes. You can't session it.
I strongly disagree with you there. I don't think there's a better session beer in the world than Guinness. Guinness, you can knock it back all day long.
Can you though?
Yeah, if someone said to me you have to drink 15 beers today, but they can only be one type of beer, I'd Guinness every time.
No, you're insane.
Just keep knocking them back. Listen, if the only people who can't session drink Guinness are fussy men.
You can't. Okay. Yes, you're a man. You're a big old man. Yeah, you can session Guinness. I probably could too, but it's not a sessionable beer. No one ever said, "Hey, let's go to the beach. Let's go down to the lake in Kelowna, have a little sit down by the beach. It's hot, stinking hot, and then let's crack a few Guinnesses." No one ever said that. You didn't even say that. No one's saying that.
No, because it's not always hot, is it?
No, but you said if I put a gun to your head and said session 15 Guinnesses sitting at a beach in 30 degrees, you might take the shot.
Yeah, but you never said it was 30 degrees though. If it's 30 degrees.
Okay, but if your session beers and you're not in a negative 30 tundra, then you're probably going to do something like a lager or an
No,
APA or a
I'll
pale, just a regular pale, or an IPA. And that's where craft beer comes in handy.
I'll tell you why you want to drink Guinness as your session beer. Because it doesn't have the carbon in it, because it's not so gassy, you don't end up burping quite so much. So Guinness is a superior session drinking beer. You just knock it right back.
I'm clearly not going to win this argument, even with
You're not.
even with books. And
Look, you could have a PhD in beer, but you still wouldn't be able to convince me that Guinness isn't the best beer ever made. I should be bloody sponsored by Diageo. The amount of good Guinness will that I've been given out there.
yeah, well, maybe we might get a like on this on this video from Diageo.
Diageo,
Jump into the DMs.
send us the Guinness. Come on.
Yeah, and if you do get sent Guinness, then I might even say, "Hey, we can session this."
There we go. Are we full of shit?
Mostly,
If you're going to be full of shit, it's better to know that you're full of shit than to not know you're full of shit and still be full of shit.
yeah, yeah.
But I think most people are full of shit. They just don't know it.
You should educate them on how full of shit they are.
Here's the thing, right? Most people are full of shit. Most people don't know anything, but they think they know everything. And when you try and educate people, they push back. Who was it that said it's easier to trick people than it is to convince them they've been tricked?
Who did say that?
I'll look that up quick. I don't
Was
wanna...
it Tesla?
Okay. Mark Twain said, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled.
Right.
And that is so true.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
when you try and convince someone that they've been fooled, you necessarily hurt their ego a little bit. So you to accept that you've been fooled requires humbling yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
It requires admitting that you were wrong about something. It requires admitting that you were fooled. And for most people, it's easier to deny and to it's easier to stick to your belief than it is to admit that you were wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good quote for sure.
Which is, and I think that's why we become so siloed in our opinions. Then, right?
Yeah.
Because it's easier to stick to what you think you already know than to entertain the possibility of something else being accurate.
Yeah.
Right?
Dropping knowledge.
Like the Guinness thing. It's easier for me to know that Guinness is the best than to entertain the possibility that there might be another beer out there that's better.
You're getting sponsored today.
Come on, Diageo, come on. Stop teasing us. Let's make it happen.
Even some merch. I'd wear some Guinness merch. Just something.
I think I had some. To be fair to the Diageo company, they are pretty good at handing out Guinness merch.
Yeah.
So they know. They know everyone wants to wear it.
Here's something. When I first came to Canada, I did a competition into a little Dropbox for a $2,000 WestJet voucher. And it was through Guinness, and I fucking won it. It's one of the greatest things I've ever won. And it was when I first got to Canada, too. It was like within 2 months.
Where did you go with your voucher?
Guess.
Hawaii. Australia?
WestJet doesn't fly that.
Oh, good point.
One more.
Scotland.
I went there in 2018, not 2011. I went to Vegas for 7 fucking days.
Woo!
If anyone's gone to Vegas for 7 days, don't do it.
Listen, Vegas don't go to Vegas for 7 days. It's far too long.
Far too long.
3 or maybe 4 days is plenty for
Three.
Vegas.
No, no, no. Don't say 3 or 4. 3. It is
Three
just
days is
3.
more than enough.
I've done 2. I've done 2. Too short. 3. I've done that twice. I've done 4, and I've done 7. Do not do anything else other than 3. That's the perfect
You're
number.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're right. Don't Vegas 3 days. If you
It gets you
listen,
fired up.
listen, I love going to Vegas.
So good.
Every time I've gone to Vegas, I've loved it. But every time I've left Vegas, I've been ready to leave Vegas as well.
Oh yeah. You never
I've never been.
really. You
I've
never
never
really
been in
feel.
Vegas on the morning of the flight home and thought, I wish I had another day here.
No one ever said that. Even if you're on a heater, even if you're sitting down on like blackjack for like 71 hours, you look at your watch like, shit, I need to be at the airport. I might stay another day. No, you get off that heater and you get the fuck out of town. Dude, just leave.
This is the classic Vegas 3 day trip, right? You arrive there day one in the afternoon,
Yeah,
and you're buzzed already, and you just ride that buzz all through the night. You stay up until about 6 o'clock in the morning,
yeah.
and you get about 4 or 5 hours sleep. Then day two, that's your big day. You spend the whole day at a pool party. You're buzzed the whole day, and you go all through the night. Your last day, you're getting a little bit tired at this point. Your whole last day is a bit of a disappointment. It's never the big day, the last day. You think
No.
it's going to be, but it's not. And you find yourself on the last day just kind of wandering around thinking, I'm kind of ready to get out of this place now.
Yeah, dude.
Right? But you have to have that last day because if you only do 2 days, you'll leave wishing you had more.
I don't think I've ever done a trip ever where I've got to the airport. I'm like, fuck, I'll stay. And Vegas is not that place.
Yeah.
Dude, Vegas,
Yeah.
man.
Listen, I think it's important to go to Vegas every couple of years
Yeah.
just to get it out of your system.
You need to get it out of it. Because I'm getting fired up talking about it. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
I need to go.
It's been about a year and a half since I've been to Vegas, and I can feel it now. It's like, oh, you almost got to get there and just get it over with. But once you've done it, you're like, okay, I don't need to go to Vegas anymore. I actually think that Vegas is getting worse every time I go as well.
What do you mean?
Okay, the first time I went there, hotels are cheap, drinks are cheap, everything was cheap because they expect to make a lot of money on gambling.
Yeah.
Now, it's not like that at all. Everything is expensive.
And I went in October, just gone, and they're removing a lot of like the older buildings off the strip, like the PBR Bull Riders bar right next to Planet Hollywood. Planet Hollywood? No, MGM. And they've taken that down. They're taking that was a place where you could get like cheap drinks, play beer pong until the wee hours of the morning, like unreal.
Yeah, it's I think we're Vegas is in a bit of a transition period right now,
For
and
sure.
I don't know what it will become exactly, but it's not the same as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely more expensive.
I think that it's it's still a lot of fun to go to Vegas, but it's not as good as it was 5 or 10 years ago. We'll see what it becomes.
You want to hear what I did in October, the 3 days?
Yeah.
I'll give you a brief summary. And if you're not fired up after this, fuck, man, I don't know what will get you fired up. Flew out in the morning, landed early afternoon. There's a liquor store next to the baggage collection. Picked up 2 Coors Lights. Jumped in the Uber. Went to Walmart. Grabbed boxes of beer. Went to the hotel. threw ice in the bathtub, threw the beer in the bathtub. That was our beers for walking around Vegas. So we're already on the beers. We had Steve Aoki that night. I didn't make it. Next day, woke up, hydration IV, to then race Lamborghinis and Porsches at the racetrack. Then, a few beers into the night, Little John was playing. Others went, I didn't.
Didn't make it again.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And then third, we went to the shooting range. We busted off a whole bunch of caps with an M60, Desert Eagles, shotguns, everything. And then went to the Vegas Knights, Montreal Canadiens game. Beers again. That was day 3. Next morning, in the car, fucked off. We were out. Yeah. Just jumped in the car and we just drove to LA. We're like, no, just don't look in the rearview mirror. We're done.
Yeah, the two best things about Vegas is going to Vegas and leaving Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm half due a trip there, but it doesn't have to be this year.
We should go and do a poolside podcast.
We're gonna have to record a Vegas podcast at some point.
Get sweaty like Spaniards.
Yeah. Hey, summer's coming.
Yeah, it's good.
It's not here yet.
Oh, it was 18 degrees yesterday, man. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple of mild days here as well, and you can just feel the sun's rays a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all you need at this time of year, just a couple of sunny and warm days, just to get you going, you know? You can feel the end of the winter is coming.
Yeah. It's good.
Right? And you can feel it here in London as well. The Euros is on this summer.
What's the Euros?
Just had a phone call and it blocked the stream. Listen, okay, you can feel it. The Euros is like the World Cup, but for Europe only. And I think most people agree that the Euros is better than the World Cup.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because to get to the Euros, it's all good European teams. The World Cup, you get some shit teams in there.
Yeah, okay.
Because teams from every continent get to qualify, you get some shit teams in there.
Okay.
Like there was one where there was
to the rules of soccer. Like I'm very like the different kind of like leagues and things like that. So just a little Coles note for me, I guess.
Yeah, the European Championship is as good as international football gets.
Sweet.
Right, and that's on this summer, June and July. So let me tell you, England could win it. They've got a really good chance. This England team is really good. Now, obviously, I hope Wales qualify and Wales wins it.
England would have Jude Bellingham.
Yes.
Marcus
Harry
Rashford.
Kane.
Harry Kane.
There's a lot of good players in this England team. I think they've got a really good chance of winning it.
I'm a big fan of Erling Haaland, but is Norway's not even close to that, are they?
No, I don't think that they don't have much of a team.
Yeah.
The thing is, Erling Haaland could have played for England. He was born in England.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, his dad played for Manchester City, and I think, and Erling Haaland was born in England,
but he won't play in England then.
Well,
because he resides in Norway, I guess.
I think he grew up in Norway, but he is Norwegian. Just because he was born in England.
Jeez, just take a look at the guy. Just take a look at the guy. He is Norway. He looks like a fucking Viking.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if a cow is born in a stable, does that make it a horse? You know, he's
Nice.
Norwegian.
Yeah.
It
If it
would
looks
be
like a duck,
weird if he played for England. You know.
if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, must be a duck.
Yeah, you know. Um, but I think England have got a really good chance. It'll be a lot of fun to watch that while in England. And Murder
Yeah.
on the Dance Floor is going to be playing all summer as well. I've got a feeling that it's going to be a hot summer as well.
A hot girl summer.
I'm hoping for the hottest summer on record in Britain.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what would be nice is a little bit of global warming this summer.
Just go to a hot country. Just go to Hawaii, bro. Just
No, I know, but there's something special about when it's really hot in Britain.
yeah.
When it's 30 degrees in Britain, I don't think there's anywhere better in the world.
I got sunburned at Trafalgar Square.
Dude, you get sunburned opening up the fridge.
I get sunburned in a cupboard. I think I got some sun yesterday, fuck.
I was going to say something. I can't remember what it was now, but it was important.
What was it?
Can't remember. It's
Euros,
gone.
global warming, sunburn at Trafalgar Square.
Listen, I'm hoping I'll be happy if in December of this year I see on the news that it says 2024 was the hottest year on record in Britain. Great. You know what would be worse? You know what would be worse? 2024 was the coldest year on record in Britain. Who wants that? I'll tell you what, people worrying about global warming, you know what would be way worse than global warming? Global cooling. That would suck, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
Dude, it can't get much colder here in the winter. Fucking hell.
Listen, if we went from global warming to global cooling, there'd be people crying out for global warming, let me tell you. That's going to get us cancelled.
That's why Guinness ain't sponsoring us. Thanks, man.
Yeah, because Guinness would love a bit of global cooling, wouldn't they? They'd
So
go
you
for
can
a bit of
session
that.
those beers. Well then, beautiful
I think,
conversation.
I think,
Shall we wrap it up?
yeah, I think we should. But just to remind everyone, go and check us out on Spotify.
Yeah. Do it. Do it.
Come on, sports fans.
For the boys. For the boys.
Cheers.